And welcome to Adventure Awakens. This would be Battle Report number 4, and it's another friendly. This one was just before TEC. It's against a good friend of mine, John, and it's another spot. It's a spiky club from Reading. So this is based around Basingstoke. It's run out of a little village hall, but because of the rules imposed there, we were just doing this at his house after my work. So because I work halfway, I managed to drive up, which was really good. We did a secure target and a normal. When I say frontal assault, I mean battle line. He is got 2 armies, and he's building a third. So hopefully I can get on because he's a fantastic painter, as you'll see. So he's playing with his highborn elf today. He's got a painted ogre and goblins army, which is fantastic, and he's doing a demon legion's one, which I've played before when he first got it. So it was a bit unpainted then, but now it's starting to really come good. I'm really looking forward to how that's going to look in the future. Matt, I just let him make it up. I wasn't really too bothered about it, but let's go through the lists. So my list, I'm still using the one building up to TEC, so no change from the other one with the Dragon Druid, Master with Druidism, and the Avatar of Nature. I've got the BSB with the Blade Dancers, which I find are normally quite a tough unit. They are quite prone to getting burnt off if you leave them alone too long. MR4 is not as good as you. If you throw enough dice at it, it's not good. And with Pyromancy, there are too many spells if they're in range with just such high scoring, and there's nothing you can really do about it. I think Chilling Howl is just something that actually would synergize quite well with this, and something maybe I have to think about. Otherwise, got a big block of Dryads, 2 small Dryads, 2 units of Heath Hunters that are chaff, but I normally like to use them quite late in the game and keep them as mobile fire platforms. 9 Wild Huntsmen with Flaming Standard, though with looking for that in case he has any 40 saves. The Blade Dancers themselves, Sylvan Sentinels, which are going to be useful against his list, as you'll see, and the 5 Briar Maidens for those last 2 spells. His list, big monsters. So I've got a Tree Father Ancient and a Dragon, and he's got a Ancient Dragon with a Prince and a Fiery Heart Pyromaster on a young dragon. So he's got a classic Ancient Dragon, except he's gone for Rod of Battle, which he quite likes, and on Server's list, especially on this one, it just means he'll always be hitting on 2s. He's got the classic Nova Flaring Queen's Cavalier with Lance. It's just something that I'm not sure I want to go into with my Tree Father, especially with the Firemaster there as well. I'm not even sure that if I've lost a couple of wounds, I want to go into the Firemaster. It can fire magic into combat. It's got a dragon. It gets more attacks when it casts more. It's got 2 flaming attacks. Oh, it's just, yeah. And the fact that there's 3 breath weapons, I just cannot let my Blade Dancers get anywhere near this combination, because otherwise there just won't be anything left of them. He's got 2 units of 6 Highborn Lancers and Musician for scoring. He's got 25 Seagull with Navigator's Banner, and they're just sort of like his block there. And then he's got the 21 Flame Wardens. I've never played Flame Wardens before, ever. No, correction, I've played them once, and I managed to get such a good combo charge on them. I've never really tested them. So this would be an interesting battle. I was looking at them, and in my head I thought, yep, Dryads can potentially take these. It'd be interesting to see what happens. I should have done the maths. I didn't. I recommend always doing maths with stuff like that. But in my head, 5+ versus their 4+, and I've got equal strength. I've got more attack, so maybe that. 2 units of 5 Knights of Rhyme with full command because they're just tough and they're good, and then 2 units of 5 Swordmasters. We agreed not to play flags because I just said I'd shoot off your Swordmasters and I'd spend the entire game running around away from you. But also secure target just rolled up, and that was quite good. Overall, I think the big risks I've got are the 2 dragons. I'm not as worried about the rest of it, though I was slightly concerned about the Flame Wardens that got into my Blade Dancers. I didn't know how to deal with them, and certainly couldn't charge with my Wild Huntsman because I just bounce. But the 2 dragons, they stopped me pushing with my monsters, which I normally like to go against Pyromancy Master, because I think the Ancient Dragon has a high chance of going through the Avatar, unless I can get some significant magic off. So I didn't have a proper plan for this one, and and that is something I do like to do. I like to have a plan. So magic, I went with Oaken Throne, Healing Waters, Summergrin, Stoneskin, Spirits of the Wood. My thought on Spirits of the Wood was he's got 2 blocks. There may be a time where I want to use this. I think that was good. Healing Waters, I probably shouldn't have done that. Because he's taken Flaming Swords, it just has the ability to go through that quite easily. I should have taken in 20 Roots, I think, partly because he's got just the ability to overcome that. It just becomes a wasted spell, and then Flaming Swords becomes a must stop. My Briar Maidens, I didn't go with Master of Earth on this one because I thought I tend to play my Avatar quite close to my dragon. So I thought the Briar Maidens would be more on a flank, and therefore I wanted to stop his movement. He's quite fast on me, so I thought Break the Spirit, there's a lot of terrain, and then Forest Embrace, just have that second spell for the Blade Dancers to make them stubborn if I need it. And then on his one, he took Fireball for range, Cascading Fire, and Pyroclastic Flow, because he can cast Cascading Fire in combat. I believe he can cast Pyroclastic Flow as well with the Fire rule, Fiery Heart rule as well. It's quite an interesting build because he's got a 3-up, 4-up save on it. He's quite like a Res 5 3-up, 4-up Aegis. It's really, really tough model to go through actually, and because it's so mobile. I mean, normally you can see these running with a Master of Camry Tower maybe, or a Cosmo Mage, so you can keep plinking a wound back on, but it's just lethal. I did ask him why he didn't take Favour of Melodies with the Ancient Dragon, and we debated this at the start actually. He's like, yeah, I just want to, it's that or take 1 less damage spell, and it's neither here nor there because he does have a lot of damage, and they're all must stop spells if they target the right unit for me. So here's deployment. Right, you can see the map here. So what we've got is ruins at the back. We've got the hill on the left to a wall there with a forest. Another wall on this side, hill at the back there, just because this is how his table works, and then an impassable on the right here. I decided I got the win the drop. No, he won for size and chose that one. So I got this one, and I decided to drop first and place my forest here. And the idea was I wanted to push up, not let his fire magic come at me for too long. And as you can see, I deployed quite narrow with the idea that Briar Maidens. So when I deployed, I couldn't see any of his armies. So I deployed these guys on the left with the Dryads, and that way I could. And as you can see, secure target there. He placed his here. I placed mine there. And the idea was I wanted them quite close because he had far more scoring units than me. And by having it in the forest, I just managed to keep that advantage. It just means there's something I can go and get. So I put the Briar Maidens over here with the Dryads, with the ability on the hill to charge down into there. I put another Dryads there just in case to follow up. I have my big combat threats here with the Blade Dancers and the Avatar of Nature. With the Dragon support, the Dragon can move to the left or right. And then I've got Wild Huntsman and the Heath Hunters. The idea here was if he deployed quite narrow in the left, I wouldn't have to go all the way around this impassable terrain into this area, and I really wouldn't be able to affect it. But actually, I think in hindsight, I should have done that. But either way, I was still reasonably happy. And then he counter-deployed with his 1 unit of Silverhelms here, with his Phoenix Guard behind, the idea that they can push up here and just take that objective. He's got the 2 dragons here just because they've got the ability to come this way and force me off that hill, so they're definitely going to get that objective. He's got the 2 sword masters flanking the Sea Guard here, just lining up against the other objective, and then he's got his Knights of Rhymer, Silverhounds, and Knights of Rhymer on this side to push at me and give me a bit of time. But I think he's out-deployed me here. He's countered all my threats because, as you can see, when I push, I do it like this. So I don't think I've got drastically wrong. So I haven't advanced as far on this side, but I've moved the Dryads up onto the hill. They're still in good position. The Briar Maidens can still support. I've caught them in range so I can cast Break the Spirit on the dragons here because this is where I decided I want to go. I've kept the Dryads where they are. The Sentinels can fire at the Pyromaster, and this just, as much as probably the Avatar, the Dragon Ancient, I couldn't get in range this turn, so we cleverly put them out of range. But I just wanted to see, you never know, I could start plinking some wounds off that because it's only got 4 hit points, so it's quite vulnerable. As you can see, I was quite aggressive in my avatar in nature with his dragon over there on the left. There's potential for me to start smashing through here, especially if he maintains his tent and starts going down the left here. Otherwise, I've got the Blade Dancer in the centre to support, but maintaining it would just protect them from the Sea Guard. And then I've got the Wild Huntsman on the right here and the two Heath Hunters here. And this is so they can use chaff later, just so I can try and entice this flank out. So this is magic. This is the roll. My very first spell I cast was Break the Spirit, and it went off with a 333. So what that means is 2d6 and strength of the dice. So 2d6 strength 4, AP 2. Now AP 2 I'm not bothered about. That means that I'm going to have 2d6 strength 4 hits onto the unit, and I'm going straight to Aegis. 3 of them die. I run away, and they go to there. I do cast Break the Spirit on his Dragon Mage though, but the Dragon Mage doesn't need to move that far anyway to hit, so maybe I should have done it on the Sea Guard to have a better effect. But either way, that was the only spell I got off that turn, and it destroyed more of my unit than his, which is quite funny. Yeah. I then got really lucky with this is the shots from my Sylvan Centaurs. I didn't get a picture of Sylvan Centaurs at the Dragon Mage. I thought, yes, with 6 poison shots, I must be able to get a wound 3. Don't get any. I mean, that 3+, 4+ is actually really tough to get through when you think about it. And like when I start playing those 1-up rerollable, the 1-up, 5-up, 4-up res 5 monsters, it's not always an active war. Sometimes it pays off. This time it didn't. But the 2 units of Heath Hunters managed to chip off 3 of the Swordmasters here. They're quite good chaff. I just don't want them coming in, but they're just easy points that I can get rid of now rather than worry about them later. And I can't touch the rest of his cavalry really. So going to Highborn Elves turn 1, as you can see, he's kept in the centre. He's sort of pushed the circle out. So he's pushed the Silverhelms up here to block my Wild Huntsman, and you can see John's got a really good plan here. He's moved the Dragon Princes out to the right and centre, and that's just zoning me off. It's giving me a choice. He's not worried about my Heath Hunters going into them just because of their armour. He's kept the centre and he's moved the dragons back in. He's seen my plan, and this just means yes, I go into his units, but then even if I go into this, the Swordmasters with my avatar on a long charge, beat them, overrun, he can still count as being on the charge that turn. So I still think he does a significant amount of damage in his turn, and then he has a whole round of magic in order to buff him. Exactly. His Silverhelms have moved up on the left here, and this is so he knew what he was doing here. He had a plan, and he's got the Phoenix Guard supporting him behind. I think it's quite good. It's pushed me without doing anything to me. So, and there we go on to Magic. So in Magic, he managed to get the Flaming Swords up. I couldn't stop it, and he managed to put 2 wounds on the Tree Father, not with spells, but with these guys, the Lothan Sea Guard, which I started to realise with Flaming Swords up, they were quite dangerous actually. There's a lot of shots there, especially if I want to charge any of the units around here, so it's quite worrying. So very quickly moving on to my turn 2, I decide now's the time, it's friendly, I want to test what the Phoenix Guard do. I know what he's going to do. I charge my Dryades into his Silverhelms, he runs. They go behind there, and I declare a charge. The other charge I make is the Wild Huntsman into a Silverhelms the other side, confident I can block his Dragon Princes with my Heath Hunters on the right. And this is it. Yep, it was about a 9 I needed, and I had a reroll, so the Dryads get in. I'm in Horde, so there's a lot of attacks going into that unit. I get to go first, so depending on how good his 4-up saves are is depending on how bad this combat or how good this combat's going to be. Especially if I can get some magic on there, if I get Stone Skin or Fortitude save or something like that, just something that can maximise my save or even get Spirits of the Wood off. I've measured in range for the dragon, so this is going to be my priority target for magic on this phase. This one, these are going to blow through the Silverhelms. If any of them are left, I'll be very surprised. I'm pretty confident there. Unfortunately, he in the last turn he did get fireball off on this unit, if I remember, and he took it down to 1 wound left on the champion, which means that they're below 25% and therefore at half leadership, out of BSB, and they fell and run off the board. Bye bye, Briar Maidens. I must be honest, this shocked me quite a lot. They never die. I'm trying to think when they've actually died when I haven't thrown them away knowing they were going to die, kind of thing. Apart from maybe in front of a Saurian Warlord or something, but it was a real shock. So, yeah, they're normally quite a tough unit. And then otherwise you can see I've moved the dragon over to the left to support the dryads. Otherwise I've moved back in the center with the avatar moving across the right to start threatening in this direction. One thing I didn't do, I think what I should have done is angled the avatar and moved him closer over this way. And actually, so if these guys take them and overrun, I'm far closer and I can start dealing with the battle far better, just so the Wild Huntsman could look this way and the avatar could have looked that way. In Magic, I get nothing off, and hence what you're looking at here. So the Wild Huntsmen blow through the Silverhounds, but the Dryads, without any magical support, it turns out I'm not that good against Phoenix Guard. So I killed 3, and this was average. It wasn't overpowered. He wasn't making big saves on his Phoenix Guard. These were average rolls. I'm pretty sure. Maybe the Dryads are a little low, but that's not unusual. Like slightly below average. It's slightly below 50%. So, in the end, he killed 6. He's got banners. And yeah, it's just. Ooh, and so they run and they get caught down, and now I have a Phoenix Guard unit in my flank. Ouch. So, not looking good. But on the plus side, on this side, it's all going well on the right, so hopefully the Dragon Princes go in, I can charge one of the Wild Huntsmen, I can use the Avatar nature to block the other. On this side, unfortunately, something that's, because I've moved my dragon over here, the Phoenix Guard can actually see the dragon around the hill. So maybe I should have had a look at that. But I honestly thought I'd get a couple of spells off and at least be able to hold on that side. So he charges. It's not that far a charge. And because of the Banner of Rhymer, they get +1. They get +1 movement. So what happened was, yeah, he charged and I fled. I think that was a sensible move. He can't go any further, but it does mean my dragon is running. And it runs to here and takes a wound from DTs, but I do like that dragon. That photo is awesome with the light there. John's got a really good table. It's got like a light above it, so it really picks out the models really well. It's perfect for wargaming. It's almost like he designed it but didn't tell his wife when the house was bought that, yes, I can see this now. This is perfect for wargaming and taking pictures. On this side, he charges both his Dragon Princes in. He's pretty confident he can take them off, and he just knows he's got to get rid of them. I think he's quite happy I gave them up so cheaply in this game, or he's got a plan here. I don't. As in, he knows what he's about to do next. I haven't seen it yet. And this is where it starts. So in Magic, I've healed. I think I don't heal a wound here, so I'm still stuck on the Avatar in this, and he's moving his Swordmasters forward whilst keeping his central line back. He's taken 2 off in this picture of the Wild Huntsman with a bit of magic, but otherwise I stopped the rest, so it's not a too bad phase. So I'm pretty happy with that. Then in shooting, he takes off all bar the champion. So I've got 1 Wild Huntsman left, and now I'm like, crap. So now I've got to give up the right flank temporarily because I need to heal this unit. But I have to pass a frenzy check. So if I pass a frenzy check, I can bring it back, and hopefully Magic can slowly bring this unit back while I hold off the Dragon Princes. I've still got quite a few units in the army, like the Blade Dancers and the Avatar, that can hold them up for a bit. So it's not the end of the world yet. But still, it's promising for them. And in combat, he destroys both Heath Hunter units, and I'm left there with 1 Wild Huntsman facing 2 Dragon Prince units. Right, so first thing you noticed, no Dragon Prince unit there. He's gone in. So he failed his frenzy check and he's charged in manically, death-defying huntsman, blah blah blah. What's worse is I've got the dragon here. He's got a rally. That's fine, but there is only one spell that I can help him with, and that is Summer's Growth. So John knows exactly what he's going to need to stop, because if I get that off, and I mean, I have to throw everything at it, even if I get a couple back. I don't even need the big version. Knew I was going to throw 5 dice at this, which may seem silly because I could lose my dragon, but equally, I just needed to get this off. Otherwise, I've moved the Blade Dancers in the center. Just I can see these sword masses coming down. The Avatar is in range just to give him a bit of shooting. I've turned the Dryads around and started to move away from the Phoenix Guard over to this side because I'm giving up that token to him at this point. I need to concentrate on getting this one because I don't think I've got anything left in my army. They can actually take them on at the moment. Not on their own anyway. I need a combo charge, and quite frankly, I've just got to hold off this big centre at the moment that's just pumping out so much tax in magic and shooting. This is the Sentinels. They're doing really well this game. 4 6s again in the shooting, and that's 2 wounds off the Avatar of the Ancient Dragon. Only 6 more to go. It was at this point I found out there were 8 hit points because I thought there were 7. But yes, but plinking away. In this combat, this was pretty cool actually. So with 4 attacks, he managed to kill 2 Dragon Princes. The champion still hits like a steam train, but as you can see, I didn't get any magic off. Again, I failed to cast Summer's Growth. It just didn't go well. So even if I'd only managed to get 2 back, I think I'd have killed another 1 or 2, and I'd have probably survived and gone through the unit and broken them. So that would have been a real interesting one. So that was a bit interesting. But it does show how dangerous the unit can be. It's just I need to keep them out of fire range of anything because they fall over like dry grass. And the Dragon Princes kill that in return, and now they've got a free run of the flank really. So High Elf's turn 3. Now he's dominating the left and right and pushed me into the centre. I feel like Chelmsford Square at this point, and I've got the Zulus coming at me. And he pushes hard. He pushes both his dragons right in front of the Avatar. It's a good move because I'm not convinced I can kill them off. And if he gets Flaming Swords through, it's an absolute nightmare. And he's still got breath weapons. Yeah, they're winning on 6s, but if he gets Flaming Swords off as well, they're winning on 5s with a reroll, and it's just messy at that point. Or he can punch them into the Blade Dancers and just ruin the unit. But as you can see, he's pushed the Phoenix Guard up on the right, on the left. He doesn't need to worry about it because he's got the Silver Helms that are going to take the objective. I've got nothing really apart from the Blade Dancers. If I can push through, but his characters are so mobile, they can go back and get it. And then he's just keeping his Sea Guard back to go and take the central objective. And the Dragon Prince is just zoning here because he doesn't need to put them at risk. This is a nice shot. You've got the Avatar of Nature here and the 2 dragons. This is after his magic and shooting. So he got he got Flaming Swords up. Now this is where I should have used my Binding Scroll. I'll point out I forgot all game about this. But I should have used it here because he got Flaming Swords off. He has 2 breath weapons and everything, but he doesn't manage to do anything. I'll stop everything. As in, I save everything. I got really lucky. And that was a really good thing. Mind you, that was his roll for Flaming Swords. It was massive. He did, though, manage to shoot off 3 Blade Dancers with his Lothan Sea Guard from all the way over there, which I was a bit like, oh, okay. There's a lot of shots, but I was hoping maybe with -2 to hit that he wouldn't do so well, but he did. Either way, that's the end of that. But also the Blade Dancers are blocked off from charging to Dragon because that could have been curtains. So my turn, I realise I've got to do something about this. I'm not sure what. So I charge the dragon. I charge the Avatar into the Dragon Mage. I feel I've got 3 wounds left. I could potentially heal 1. If I can get strength of resilience buff off, I can go through this and push him back off the hill, or push him back overrun, and then potentially get into his soft Sea Guard. And if I've got the resilience up, not even the Dragon Princes going in are going to worry me about. He's just too tough, and I've taken out his magic. So that was the aim with this one. Blade Dancers went into the sword masters just to get them cleared out. And I left the Dryads here just as a bit of a tempting thing for here. I just wanted them to go into them, to then hit the dragon, and then be countercharged by the Blade Dancers. What I didn't see, as you'll find out, is I didn't block off this charge here, and that was a really stupid move. In Magic, I get nothing off. Again, I may have got Oaken Throne, but I didn't get anything meaningful off. So the dragon and the Avatar are in there on his own. But the Avatar only takes 1 wound. It's a miracle. He breaks him, and then, because he's not steadfast, he wins combat by something, and that's quite some achievement when you think the number of attacks and a breath weapon coming at him. But he doesn't catch him. Now this is bad, because now he can rally and use magic, and the Avatar is sat in front of not just the Dragon Princes, but potentially a sort of flaming swords unit of Lothan Seaguard with only 2 wounds. So it's not looking good for him. Otherwise, the Blade Dancers kill and lose to the left. So he's into my soft underbelly. So he charges the Avatar into the Dryads with the Dragon Princes. So they're as good as dead. He rallies the Dragon Mage, unfortunately, and doesn't run off. He doesn't decide to charge him because he thinks his shooting magic is going to take off those 2 wounds far easier. And this is it. This is before magic and shooting. This is after magic and shooting. 1 dead Tree Father. So he was right, and that's them gone. So that's a big loss to me. That's about 800 points, but equally it's my general gone. It was my one chance to stop them getting this central objective. I don't think I haven't got the troops to get there within 2 turns. He's got too many mobile scoring. So he's going to win the objective. I can't even draw it now. And what's worse is it means his dragon can start pushing back into here with his other units, and there's nothing really that can stop them in. In other news, you can see that his Phoenix Guard have come off the hill and have charged my Blade Dancers. And this is what I was talking about, so I completely missed this, which means my other unit, and I looked at this and I did the sums, I went, even with a 3+ save, can I do it? And I just thought, oh, they're in the wood. Potentially, there is a chance I can do this. He obviously breaks he concentrated his magic on the Avatar, but he breaks. He completely wipes out the Dryads, and he decides to reform. He doesn't overrun with anyone because he's pretty sure that's not going to change any matters. I use my 3 up Aegis, and as you can see there, I lose about 3 Blade Dancers. I don't kill much, I lose combat, and I fail my rerollable 9 break test. Not a good way. It's the one thing the Blade Dancers are normally really reliable on, so every now and again they're going to fail this, and they do, and they get run down. They roll really low to get out of the way as well, and yeah, it's just the Phoenix Guard have taken them off. So the Phoenix Guard have accounted for my they've definitely accounted for a lot of this game, so they've done really well, and they're a really tough unit when not taken down early on. And here's how you see my turn for his starting. You see he's moved Dragon Princes onto the objective, so that's all wrapped up now, and it's my turn. So we didn't get great pictures of my turn, but if you notice here, there's a lot more wounds on his dragon. And that's because the only thing I really got off, I got some magic off for once. So these guys are now like res 7. No, res 6. So they're res 6. And I've got a forest around the sentinels, but that's just so I can get some more magic off, and just in case he charged into them, just to make sure they were stubborn. So I gave him a choice here, and he decided on the Dryads. But the sentinels took another load of wounds off. They've added about 3. So he's got about 5 wounds on him now at the beginning of combat. So he's only got 3 left. So there's potential. What I didn't do was I didn't put my dragon in a good place, because the dragon can't countercharge at all. But that was the way. But what I did was I challenged him out. He stomped my champion to death, but Dryads did not run, stayed there, absolutely fine. Just thought this was a good photo. I just thought I'd add it in. I mean, look at the detail on John's wings here on his dragon. It's an absolutely incredible model. Yeah, just so happy. My dragon looks angrier, but it's definitely not more dangerous at the moment. Yeah, and this is after combat. So he kills 3. No, correction. So I didn't challenge this turn because I didn't have champions in this. Sorry, I've got confused. But he only killed 3. Even with Thunderstorm, all the attacks, everything, he's charged. Just that resilience and the Aegis 5 up, even on Divine Attacks reroll, I still survived. It was incredible. And they put a wound on him. So he's only got 2 wounds left. I mean, that's it. I just need to do 2 wounds. And he's gone. So I'll do a bit of a Hail Mary here. Sorry, I've moved on there. I charged my Sentinels in. And I got some spells off, but that wasn't it. He killed 4 of them, and I got the final wounds off and killed the dragon. It's incredible. So the dragon is gone. He's dead. So that was about 1,200 points in my thing. So I didn't really have any. I'd only killed the Swordmasters, 2 units of Swordmasters at this point, and a unit of Silverhelms. So this was a pretty big turn of events for me, and I was pretty happy with that. And then that was how it ended on my turn. So you see, killed 4 of them. I've moved the dragon out of the way. He's not going to charge anything next turn. His only hope is to kill one of these 2 units off with magic and shooting. So he moves his Dragon Mage over here. He doesn't move his Sea Guard because otherwise they get to fire an extra rank. And he doesn't need to move them because they're in range of the Centaurs. In Magic, he only kills 3 off, so he doesn't get the unit down to below 25%, so he's not getting any points for them. And the Sentinels manage to survive his shooting. He just doesn't shoot very well throughout the whole time. And that ends the game. So he's won the objective. But yeah, that's the dead pile. So that's my dead pile, which is pretty much everything minus the Dragon Sentinels and one of the small units of Dryads. And that's his one. But that one, look at it, it got me that 1 point because it ended 16-4, and then he got the secondary, so it became a 19-1 to John. So he played far better than me. Well done. I think my 2 big mistakes was deploying for first, because there was no need actually. His magic wasn't that strong. I could have held it up. And deploying a bit wider. I think something I've started learning, and I know this is being recorded after TEC, is I've found the Avatar and the Dragon Mage combo make me deploy quite narrow. I don't like playing that way. I think I've got to look at how I can make it the Treefather Ancient and the Dragon Prince again, just to go a bit wider and utilise the Briar Maiden's healing spell a bit better. But take nothing away from John, he completely outplayed me. So in Hobby Corner, I've shown you what I did in the last video. So what I did here was I thought I'd just add what John has got. I mean, these are his 2 dragon models. They're fantastic. I mean, the detail that he's got on these 2 models, if you ever play him and play this army, it's absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant on tabletop as well. His cavalry models are just superb, though I do remember a message that I got off him just saying, I'm never painting cavalry again. So maybe that's why I changed to Demon Legions. But I've seen some of the models there, and next time, when I play that model and that army, we'll have to get some of his models onto Hobby Corner, but they are just fantastic. And that's the end. Thank you very much. So this was the final battle before TEC, going in on a loss, but still a really good game and good fun. And definitely try and get another one in before Christmas. But otherwise, the next set will be the 5 games from TEC. Thank you very much. Bye.